So were you trying to kill Christopher when you stabbed him in the neck? Were you just gonna...
Following a disturbing 911 call by 11-year-old Daniel Bever on July 23, 2015, the quiet suburb of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, was shaken up by the news of 5 murders within one family. The parents, David and April Bever, were found stabbed to death, along with their 2 sons aged 12 and 7 and their 4-year-old daughter. 2 of their daughters, aged 13 and 2, were the only survivors of the attack executed by the oldest sons of the family, 18-year-old Robert and 16-year-old Michael. Seeing the police interrogation footage of Michael Bever will leave you shocked. After waving off his Miranda rights, the teen straightaway discloses that the 2 of them had planned it out for around 2 months.
Okay, from the very start. Okay, about 2 months ago.
One absurd thing that you will notice right away is how cooperative Michael is. Throughout the interview, he doesn't need to be asked too many probing questions, like most suspects who act cagey or try to hide their crime.
Okay.
And then about a month, about June 30th, is when he came to me and said he found out that he can legally buy guns without permit in Oklahoma.
In fact, he begins to talk as soon as the detective asks him to, and speaks without any elevation, a tone or pitch, almost like he's discussing the events of the weekend with his friends.
Besides body armor, knives, and he was in the middle of buying guns and ammunition.
I see. Okay. Where did he buy the knives from?
eBay too.
Okay.
The 16-year-old casually spills details of how the guns and knives have been brought on eBay or other officials and discusses the logistics of the shopping and delivery.
Where did you stab him?
Side of the neck.
Really? Okay. You okay?
Yeah.
You okay? Let me know if you need a break or anything, okay?
I'm good.
Despite his unsettling calmness, the detective still offers him some compassion, which is heartwarming to see, even though we know this is an interrogation and the purpose is to foster a sense of comfort and safety.
So then so he was buying weapons because you guys had talked about murdering.
Yeah, and he started planning it.
Okay.
And I went along with it.
Although he says that he only went along with Robert's plan and didn't actually want to kill them.
So was Christopher still alive when you stabbed him?
Yes.
What was he saying and doing?
He was just screaming.
He shows absolutely zero emotion while confessing that he stabbed his younger brother Christopher in the neck.
That killed people.
Yeah.
Well, mainly 2 reasons. I think it's because he just says he hates everyone. He thinks society is pointless. Beat the kill amount of other famous people like Columbine and James Egan Holmes.
Okay. Did you kind of feel that way too, like when you guys were talking earlier,
Yeah.
Do you have a problem with society too, you think?
The most horrifying part is the way he explains the reasons they planned the whole thing. To imagine the 2 teens have become so delusioned with society and fascinated by violence that they not only contemplated but actually performed such an act is truly unsettling.
So was the plan to use the knives at first on the family? Because the guns weren't going to be here till later on?
Yeah, and the guns would be too loud.
Oh, I see.
So, going to use the knives on the family, which obviously did not go as planned.
Yeah.
Thank God.
The only bit of emotion that we get is when he glances down and looks visibly upset while saying that things didn't exactly go as planned.
The family, which obviously did not go as planned.
Do you guys not like your mom and dad? I mean, most teenagers don't like their parents, so I can understand that.
Yeah, I mean, mom was okay, but dad was a little bit,
Just a little bit too much.
When Michael talks about his parents, it seems like he hasn't properly processed their deaths, since he refers to them in the present tense. The 13-year-old daughter later stated that David Bever was physically and verbally abusive towards his children, who were all homeschooled.
And basically, we did what we planned. I got to my desk, and I had to look at something to just get to roll up, but went up behind her, grabbed her, and slid with you.
Really?
Michael is completely in his senses and coherently describes the events of the previous night.
Dad came down because his bedroom's upstairs, and he went back in the boys' area where Robert was. Boys' area, that's what they call it, our room. They started attacking Dad. They got a little bit of a fight, but then eventually Robert got him down, and I think
where Robert essentially attacked their sister and parents. And Michael helped him out. He speaks without rambling or showing any significant changes in his body language, apart from some occasional heavy breathing.
I was like, let me in, and he let me in. He was sitting there on the phone with the police. I grabbed the phone from him. And I ran into the kitchen and I smashed the underground.
Which was your phone?
Yeah, it was my phone.
The one that you stabbed, who was that?
Christopher.
He's 8. And he was in the bathroom.
Yep.
He mentions that 12-year-old Daniel had grabbed his phone from the kitchen and dialed the police, while 7-year-old Christopher had locked himself in the bathroom. He talks about their escape and nonchalantly confesses,
she's a baby, she's about to turn to toddler. She was up in her bed. Okay. I think he forgot about her. And I think she stayed asleep until the police came.
that Robert originally planned to kill the nearly 2-year-old too.
You know what I mean?
I know.
People are going to want to interview you.
I don't want to be interviewed.
Despite his original statement that they wanted to achieve a high body count, Michael seems slightly embarrassed for the first time when the detective mentions it.
So when did you last have your cell phone that you remember?
Yeah, I remember. I think it was in my pocket.
Are there cameras or anything in your house?
Yeah.
He still goes on to talk about their original plans and how Daniel uses his phone while mentioning that the house had cameras installed.
So that's like 8 hours ago.
Yeah.
So how do you feel now? I mean,
I
just kind of,
didn't want to do that.
yeah.
We can see Michael trying to look remorseful when asked about how he's feeling.
I guess when they were locked in the bathroom and what
Yeah,
other room were they locked in?
And I was like, I said help, Robert's after me, and they both opened up.
But right after this, he begins to describe how he convinced his younger brother to open the door for him and the way he manipulated everyone else, which is frankly quite jarring.
So when y'all got done at the house, where were you going to go?
We were going to hang out there for at least the day. We were going to get the bodies in a room or something, maybe the attic. Clean up and then wait for the ammunition, go pick up the guns.
Being on the news and getting to see each other on TV and stuff.
Yeah.
What kind of things did you say and talk about?
Mostly about how we were planning on killing more people.
Yeah.
So is this all a game? This higher count, I'm confused. Is this a game?
Hearing about the two boys' future plans to head out on a murder spree will surely leave you horrified, especially the way he treats it like a game, where one must set a high score.
Your big brother's telling you he wants to be famous and you guys are making these plans. Surely you want some of that fame too, right?
Yeah, I do want to do it with him because he's going to do it no matter what. He says if I don't do it with him, they'll just kill me too.
Towards the end, though, Michael's statements make it seem like he was coaxed into it by his brother. Do you think he's telling the truth?
I think I just stabbed him.
You stabbed him off.
Yeah.
Only when the detective appeals to his morality and manhood does Michael confess that he also stabbed his mother.
How do you feel about what you've done now?
I didn't like it the minute it started.
I mean, how do you feel about your mother? And Christopher, your little brother. I mean, you stabbed him in the neck. What has he ever done to you? So he's just a number.
Yes.
And how do you feel about that now?
It's pointless.
It's what?
Pointless.
Pointless.
And yet when he says that he doesn't feel good about the whole thing, we are reminded that they admittedly wanted to start out with a large body count. The scariest part of this whole interview is that the kid is intelligent, educated, and well-spoken. A typical kid next door. During interrogations, we expect crazy people that have lost their grip on reality. Robert and Michael both receive life imprisonment, without and with parole, respectively.